Hello, partners. Hey, I'd like to start today's program with a special quiz. Hey, don't worry. I'm going to be surprised if you don't know the answer to this one. Okay, here goes. Whose faces are on Mount Rushmore? I said it'd be easy. You can probably picture those four carvings in your mind, even though you've never gone to the Black Hills of Dakota and seen them in person. Yep, that's our story today that Dennis has found. These four are, of course, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, and Teddy Roosevelt. Those four massive carvings, each face 6 stories tall, is in many ways one of the greatest symbols of our American history. Every so often, people will joke about adding a fifth face. Hey, either they're serious about the idea or they don't like the candidate for the face number 5 and they're just poking fun at that person. Well, they don't have to worry. There'll never be a fifth face. Mount Rushmore is finished. It will be there thousands of years from now, still reminding generations of the greatness of this nation and its leaders. Jimmy, why are you bringing all this up? You use it to salute some famous person. I got 4 of them I'm saluting now. But you're talking about 4 faces carved on a granite mountain. Yes, I am talking about 4 faces carved on a granite mountain. A good question, though. There is a great American to salute in this report. He's a wonderful example of a man who has a strong European heritage, but used his amazing God-given talents to promote our country, America. That man is Gutzon Borglum. What? I know it's an interesting name. Let me say it again. Gutzon Borglum. G-U-T-S-O-N-B-O-R-G-L-U-M. Borglum was born in Idaho back when it was still a wild place. His father had come to the United States from Denmark. Doesn't make a lot of difference to this story, but it should be pointed out that this young Gutzon was born in 1867 to one of his dad's 2 wives. To one of his dad's what? 2 wives. You know what that means. He was Mormon. From the time he was very young, Gutzon showed a talent for art. But out in the middle of nowhere in what became the Idaho Territory, there were few places where the young man could express himself. Then his father made a monumental decision that would change the family's life. Mr. Borglum decided to leave the Mormon church, denounce the practice of having more than one wife, and move his family to Omaha, Nebraska. Eventually, he moved again, this time to St. Louis. Now, the elder Borglum started studying to be a doctor. Young Gutzon decided to pick up where his dad had left off. You see, Gutzon's dad had become a well-known wood carver. But before Gutzon Borglum's career was over, I'm going to say it, you have to learn how to say it, he went into carving granite and tackled some of the toughest granite walls in America. By the time the First World War was over, Borglum was known throughout the world for his statues of famous men. Then, a group of Georgia men suggested that he carve a tribute to Robert E. Lee on the side of Stone Mountain near Atlanta. After only 2 years on the project, Borglum got in an argument with the Georgia officials. Wait till listen to this. You talk about temper. He smashed his models and left, never to return. Others tried to complete the still unfinished Stone Mountain carvings, but Gutzon Borglum was not out of work very long. Soon a man from South Dakota came to him with an idea. He said, America is now on the move. We're driving early autos all over the place, but South Dakota still is an off-the-beaten track. If only that state had a tourist attraction, something that would draw visitors to the state. Well, it's sad to say this. One of our most precious monuments, Mount Rushmore, was begun as a simple tourist trap. Yeah, we got to have people come out and see our place. But that was the way it started. Partners, that's not the way it ended. Borglum developed a lot of early ideas about what should be carved in the Black Hills. Even Davy Crockett might have ended up there. But Borglum finally had the good sense to choose those 4 presidents. But it's a little known fact that the 4 faces we see today were not originally in the same place. What? Move one of them totally? How can you move it from a mountain? Well, wait a minute. Originally, Thomas Jefferson's face was put to the left of Washington as we view the mountain. But working in the days before computers and sonar, Borglum had no way of knowing that the granite where Jefferson's face was not as deep with granite as he had hoped it would be. No, it's thin. Anyway, Borglum ran out of granite and he had to dynamite Jefferson's face and start over. I know this sounds silly, but think of what I just said. You play this over again. Made it to the right of Washington. The odd placement of Lincoln and Teddy Roosevelt are the result of irregular granite rock. Now, as the carving continued, Borglum's health began to fail, and the carving was supervised by his son. After that single year, the carving stopped. The full extent of his father's plans were never realized. The money simply ran out. But today, all these decades later, more than 3 million people a year make the trek to the Black Hills of South Dakota to see his work. So the next time you see those 4 faces, you know a little bit more about the complicated and talented man who conceived and carried out the carvings. Wait, oh yes, Gutzon Borglum was a great American himself. If you want more proof, you have to know the name of his son. The man who finished the work of his father, his first name was Lincoln. Well, now you know about those faces on Mount Rushmore. You know the drill. As soon as this video ends, click that box with the red X up there at the top. Don't touch anything else. You'll instantly return to the report page and read the rest of this week's message. Dennis Daly, my man from Palm Springs today, knows how to pick out these special people who are famous and what they stand for, what it means to us. Dixter, thank you so much for sending us the part about Borglum. Yes, I love you guys. Go get 'em, Tigers.